Hello and welcome. My name's Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind The Country Chic Cottage. Today we're going to sublimate on some water bottles. So I have a wide variety of water bottles here. Metal, I even have a glass one, various sizes and shapes, all to show you how to do sublimation on each one of these. And I'm going to use 3 different heating sources. So I'm going to use the Cricut mug press, I'm going to use my PYD Live tumbler press, and I am going to use my convection oven for at least one of these. That way you can see that you can make sublimation water bottles in any of these machines if you have them, and get an idea of the water bottle you need to purchase if you have one or more of these machines in order to do sublimation. Now, any of these could be made in the convection oven. So we'll just start right off there. I am only going to make probably one in the oven itself. However, any of these could be done in the oven. And you might need some experimentation for the time and temperature, but you could get these to work in the oven. Now, if you're going to use something like the mug press or the tumbler press, they will need to be a certain diameter. And the mug press itself, I am going to use my PYD Life inserts on one. So you can see those. I did those in a 20-ounce tumbler a couple of videos back. I will link to that in the description below if you want to see like a full video on using those inserts. So I will use those inserts on one. However, for the glass tumbler, it doesn't fit in my tumbler press or my mug press. And I don't actually do glass in my Cricut mug press because I am afraid it's going to break it. So for the glass one, we're going to go ahead and use the convection oven because I know it will be fine in there. Give it a try and see if we can get it to sublimate. Alright, so now let's take a look at the supplies we're going to use and how you prep a tumbler for sublimation. For all of the water bottles, I'm going to use sublimation prints. You could use infusible ink if you would like. So the sublimation prints I'm using are sublimation ink printed on sublimation paper in a sublimation printer, and all of them are mirrored. You'll need heat-resistant tape, protective paper, a lint roller for cleaning, and heat-resistant gloves. If you're using the Cricut mug press and the blank does not fit in there exactly, you can use these PYD Life inserts that conduct heat. It comes in a 3-pack. If you're using a convection oven, you'll want to use shrink wrap. So this is a shrink wrap sleeve, along with the heat gun to heat it up to shrink it, and I will go over how to do that. The first 4 are from Direct Vinyl Supply, and I will link to every single one of these in the description below so you can see exactly what I'm using. We have this glass one that's already tinted yellow at the bottom. These 3 are metal, just different sizes. And then 2 more metal ones from Condi. And again, I have like different sizes, and this one is a different shape. So I wanted to show a wide variety of water bottles and what they look like sublimated. We will do a mixture of designs. So some of these I'll do a full wrap and others I will not. With blanks like this that are tapered or curved, I personally do not like to do a full wrap. So it's hard to get the wrap itself to go around these curves, to find the right template, to get the template correct, and then to not have any ghosting in these tapered areas. So for me, I choose to use smaller designs on tapered blanks. The first thing you do is remove the cap, the straw, anything that might melt from the water bottle itself. And then you want to clean the whole entire water bottle well with a lint roller. So this is an example of a full wrap design, and again I will do an example of a design where it's just a smaller design on the entire water bottle. So we'll just clean this entire thing well, and then I've already trimmed my paper. So what I like to do is print a full-size sheet of paper when I don't know what size the tumbler is, and then just measure and cut the paper to size. And then we just need to get it straight on here. One trick is to set the bottle on a flat surface and wrap it around. And that way the paper itself will be straight. And then we're gonna pull it tight and use heat-resistant tape down the seam first. So I'm gonna pull it as tight as I can, making sure it's straight. Add a piece of tape. I'll just repeat working my way all the way up the side of the water bottle. Now this does overlap just slightly, and then you do want to really press down along this seam just to make sure everything is tight. So just use your fingernail along that. Rub it on both sides. Just make sure it's down really well. And then I'm going to tape all the way around the bottom. So I like to start with my tape, press it across the bottom, making sure the print sort of conforms to the bottom of the bottle. Now that's taped all the way around. Everything's tight. And now I'm gonna go all the way around the top. Do you have to go all the way around the top? Maybe not. I just like to do this to make sure it's held really tightly onto the surface. There's not any air gaps or anything. And sometimes your bottles can be just slightly tapered at the top, and this helps to kind of hold all that in. So just for my own sake, I like to tape all the way around. Now this is a full wrap, but I won't be getting this very upper lip on the water bottle, and that's okay with me. I'm okay with that. Now we need protective paper. So I like to add protective paper around all my sublimation stuff just so I don't get any ink on the inside of my press. So I'm just gonna cut a quick sheet here, wrap it around, and just add a couple pieces of tape to hold that into place. I just sort of trim it off with my scissors instead of cutting a very exact piece, but you could definitely use a paper trimmer to cut a more exact piece if you would like. But this will definitely work. And so now this one is ready for whatever press we're gonna use. So let's look at how to prep some more water bottles. So here's one with just a small design. So I'm just gonna clean like just the area where the design is gonna be. Then add our design, make sure it's straight. And then we'll just tape it into place. And you just need, enough tape where it won't move. So I'm just gonna add several pieces of tape just to make sure everything stays still. And I kind of like to tape the edges and the corners just so nothing like pops up. And then I still like to add protective paper, and I just cut a piece of protective paper here. Just wrap that around. I'm just going to add a few pieces of tape to it to hold it still. And this one's prepped as well. So for this glass one, I prepped it the same way so far, except I did not add protective paper. And now I have this shrink wrap sleeve. I'm just gonna add the bottle inside, and then I'm just gonna use a heat gun to shrink it up. There we have it. It's all shrunk up and ready for the oven on this one. So now I have everything prepped and we're gonna start pressing. So I have the mug press heated up, and if you can hear a ticking sound, that is my convection oven heating up over here to the side. So for the convection oven, I'm gonna do the glass tumbler in it, and it's gonna be 350 degrees, and I'm gonna try 7 minutes. I think that will work. Now I'm gonna do these two small ones in the mug press using the PYD Life insert. So I went ahead and put on my heat resistant gloves because this can get warm, and I may have to use more than one insert for these. So I did do a full video on these. So it's basically just trial and error, seeing which ones work. And I'll probably go ahead and flip this just because the very, very top is gonna be hanging out. And that's perfect. So I'm gonna let it run the full time for this first press. So when this beeps, I'm just gonna open it. I'm gonna rotate the water bottle. And we do wanna make sure that these little inserts don't fall down inside there. And then I'm gonna close it back, and I'm gonna time it manually for 2 minutes. So it will not automatically time now that it's hot. So I'm gonna go ahead and time it manually. I am gonna flip it over, do 4 minutes, rotate it, do 2 minutes, just so this top edge will sublimate that's sticking out a little bit. So once that 2 minutes is up, I'm gonna open this. So now I'm gonna flip it, turn it upside down for 4 minutes. Now this neck will sit on the bottom of that mug press, so I won't have to hold it up. But if you have something that doesn't sit up, you might have to pull it up while you close the machine. So I am gonna manually time this for 4 minutes in case my timer does not work. So my timer went off. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one out. So while the mug press was working, I went ahead and added that glass water bottle to my convection oven, and about halfway through the time I went ahead and rotated it. Now you should be able to tell when it's fully sublimated, and you should be able to start seeing that sublimation print through that shrink wrap. So I do think it's about done. It's been about 7 minutes, So I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out of the convection oven. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this one cool along with the one I did in my convection oven. We'll come back and take a look at the results. And I'm gonna go ahead and do this one in the mug press and then do all 3 of these in the tumbler press. So let's take a look at that. So for these in my tumbler press, I'm gonna do the time and the temperature that's on the website where I purchased them. So that's always very important. So this one's only on one side, so I only have to press it once. For the ones that are full wrap, I'll press it, turn it, and press it again. Just because along the very top, I feel like it doesn't get an even heat. So I go ahead and press it again a second time. This tumbler press, you can change the coils out to do larger items. So I'm gonna go ahead and press this one, then do these other ones. I do have a full video on the PYD Life 2-in-1 tumbler press. If you want to see details on how to use it, I'll drop a link for that video in the description below. For each of these, you'll just want to remove the protective paper as well as the sublimation print. Just remove everything from your water bottle and you'll have a gorgeous sublimation water bottle ready to use. Now let's take a look at the rest of the bottles that I made. So now let's take a closer look at each of those designs. So I'm in love with every single one of these. I don't know if I can pick a favorite, maybe the small business one, but I'm not sure. The full wrap ones also turned out great. I don't think any of these turned out bad. The glass one might have been overbaked just a little bit, but probably not much. So now you see just how easy it is to make sublimation water bottles for yourself. Now I'll link to all supplies as well as the files I've used if you want to make the exact tumblers that I've made. You can find those in the description below. So if you are on computer, click show more. If you are on mobile, click the arrow to expand the description or swipe up on the video depending on how you're watching. Then grab some sublimation water bottles and get started on this project. I know you are going to love it no matter which of these blanks that you choose. So thank y'all so much for joining me. If you have any questions about anything we've covered, drop down in the comment section, ask away. If you liked this video, if it helped you, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We have videos just like this one every single week, and trust me, you don't want to miss any of those. So thank y'all for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.